Kuna mtu ali joke na his statement siku nyingine akiniona na dem deaf. Akasema mimi I thought love was blind. No, love is not blind, love is deaf. Kwa sababu wewe tumekukataza wachana na deaf, hujasikia. But me I came to realize kitu inaitwa love ni borderless. During that time nilikuwa na deaf girlfriend. We used to hang out, mnaenda function, maybe a restaurant somewhere. Sometimes I would go to the washroom and even stay for even 5 minutes. Nilikuwa tu sure huyu hakuna mafisi hawezi kuja hapa. Mtu anakuja na kitabu, phone, anajaribu kutext, ana give up. Preschool. So ukitoka hapo saa zingine ukiwa mtoto, mnaenda mnarukia malori, ikienda tao unapanda lori hapo juu. There's even a time a childhood friend of ours died. Hii tabia tu kurukia magari, inaenda hadi tao nini, mnaenda tu naomba kama mnarudi. So when that happened, we had to be taken to the police station. Tulishikwa na police. We were still kids. Tukapelekwa huko, tukafungiwa. Then my father came there, removed me from the police station, pelekwa nyumbani, and I was beaten thoroughly.
Hello there and welcome to the Orion Production, the home of inspiration. I'm your host Jeff Otieno. On our today's episode, we have a wonderful interpreter, someone who is good in sign language. For the deaf community, here is your story. Thank you so much. It has been long since you have me in the show. Thank you so much today. Ni aje?
Fiti sana bro.
Nafurahia sana kukuwa for the show.
Hata mimi nimekuambika sana kukuja hapa. Show naona imeshika mbaya.
Nimekuwa tukikutafuta in there but naelewa ni hali ya job.
Tunaelewa tuka economy tu na mambo za taxes, lazima usake job, upange vitu 1 2 3, kawaida tu ya life.
Nafurahia sana kukuwa the show. You have an interesting story, also to the deaf community. Ni nini niliamua kuwa sign language interpreter before to reach at that level, at that juncture? Please tell us who you are, where do you come from? Utuambie story yako.
Wow, that's quite a journey. My name is Damian Evans Ajwang. Jina ya mtaa ni senior, a professional sign language interpreter, a writer. What else do I say? A youth leader. I'm a jack of many trades.
Okay, before Damian ukuja to sign language interpretation, uligrow wapi, your journey? Tuambie journey yako mpaka ufike penye umefika saa hii. Najua uko fiti, kakitu kanaingia.
Kanaingia kweli, tunajaribu tu check venye itakama. So journey yangu ni quite long. Imekuwa na ups and downs, kawaida tu ya life. So mimi niligrow up Mathare. I was born and bred in Nairobi County, in Mathare sub-county. That time kulikuwa na pale inaitwa Mathare. Tulikuwa tunaishi Mathare area 4, yeah. So that's why I grew up. Come from a family of 6. I'm the second born. Of course the big brother in the family, lazima tuseme tu pia. So growing up in Mathare was not quite a bumpy ride, an easy ride. It was quite bumpy. You understand the challenges that are in the slums, though we were not really in the slums, but those were our folks. Tulikuwa nasoma Mathare 4 primary school. So ukitoka hapo saa zingine ukiwa mtoto, mnaenda mnarukia malori, ikienda tao unapanda lori hapo juu. There's even a time a childhood friend of ours died. Hii tabia tu kurukia magari, inaenda hadi tao nini, mnaenda tu naomba kama mnarudi. So when that happened, we had to be taken to the police station. Tulishikwa na police. We were still kids. Tukapelekwa huko, tukafungiwa. Then my father came there, removed me from the police station, pelekwa nyumbani, and I was beaten thoroughly. My father was a no-nonsense guy. Actually, had it not been for him, there are several strides that I could not have gone to. So fast forward, tukatoka Mathare, tukakaa Mzima Manuko chini Roysambu constituency where niko. So tukaishi huko, nikasoma huko, nikamaliza, nikaenda high school, university, nini. Yeah, so life was, I can say, for me personally, life has not been very easy. Because I had a lot of confusion on career choices while growing up. Well, I had a course that I was doing in the university, yes, political science. Ndio, but there was an inner drive in me ilikuwa inaniambia kuna kitu ingine bado unafaa ufanye. Like there is more you can do, but you have not yet gotten the right framework to do it. Ama you have not yet gotten the support system to do this thing. So I met a deaf guy some time back. This deaf guy actually is my family friend. He's more of a brother to me. So we used to attend family gatherings sometimes. Tunaenda naye tunakaa hapo. Sasa mimi najiuliza, hii family, it's a good family, yes. What is happening here? Huyu jamaa anakuja nakapa kwa meeting. Hakuna kitu anaelewa. Sasa sometimes he will write for me a note. Ananiambia what are they saying? Sasa mimi nakaa chini. Nilikuwa ni kama wao rapporteurs. Hiyo ilikuwa job yangu. Naandika nampatia. So we had established a form of conversation. He wanted to be my friend, but me sometimes ilikuwa na hepa because zile akikuja hivi na hepa naona si ati sitaki kuwa best yake, but najiuliza ndongeaje na umse anadongea naye aje. So he used to carry a certain notebook whenever we met. Tukienda mashughuli anaandika. So there was a time we met. He had forgotten the book. I also forgot my book that day. We just met in town. Simu pia sikuwa nao, pia sijui hakuwa na simu. We could not communicate. This is somebody who is a family friend. You come from the same village. Umepatana, but you couldn't communicate. Nikajiuliza, but I usually see some people, sijui parliament, wakisign. What is special in these people? What speciality do they have that I do not have? They are human beings just like me. I think I should take a step, learn some basic sign language, just to communicate with my friend, because it was devastating and frustrating. Mnaenda mahali, people are laughing, making jokes, people are merrymaking, and all sorts of good things. But he could not interact unless you put him in a pool of deaf people. You see them cracking jokes, laughing. So something happened one day. I attended a function for the deaf. But that day I could not understand what they were saying. Sasa nilikuwa ni kama mimi ndio nilikuwa na shida hapo sasa. Hao ndio walikuwa wananihurumia sasa. Sasa huyu jamaa tuelewe hata. Alafu there was some guy, an interpreter. There were two interpreters there. Wakakuja sasa hao ndio wananiinterpretia tu. Nikaona, this thing is magical. This person can interpret sign language into English and Kiswahili and vice versa. Because there are times when the deaf is signing, communicating with their hands, the interpreter will have to interpret those words so that the messages come out clearly. So I was thrilled and fascinated at the same time. Nikasema acha tu nisome hii sign language. Nikaenda, wewe best yangu alinifunza, kanifunza kiasi. Pole. Sasa there was a church we used to attend. We formed a deaf ministry. During those days nilikuwa hata pastor pia mimi. Yeah. I was a young evangelist. So nikasema, now that nimeingia kwa space ya sign language, let us now form the deaf ministry so that the deaf people will be included in the church. So there was a church tulikuwa tunaenda, ilikuwa inaitwa PEFA, Pentecostal Evangelistic Fellowship of Africa. Iko huko Progressive, on your way to Muihoko, Pastor Githurai 45. We formed a formidable deaf ministry that was even recognized by the governor. That time alikuwa anaitwa Kabogo, Kiambu County, who also used to support us. Yeah, there was a lady we used to work with, alikuwa anaitwa Susan, a very wonderful lady. So she was the one in charge of the ministry together with the deaf. We used to do very many things, evangelizing, doing cell-to-cell fellowship, the door-to-door fellowship. We used to visit the deaf in their homes. Mtu ako na shida gani, tunasaidia, tunachanga pesa, burial, funeral, nini. We used to attend those things. I did a lot of volunteering when I was starting. So there were times sasa nika realize I can interpret kidogo tu. Kuna siku tulienda church ingine tu mahali. So there was an interpreter who used to interpret in that church. So that time something happened. The interpreter had not yet arrived in church. So ilikuwa an important occasion that day. I remember the chief guest was the deputy president, His Excellency Dr. William Samoei Ruto. time he was the deputy president. It was during the formative stages of the Jubilee government. And remember, I'd already become an interpreter. I already became an interpreter, but not yet professional. Lile tu kidogo kidogo. Kuna mtu sijui ameshikwa police station. We go to the police station. Nitaongelea hiyo mambo ya police station baadaye vizuri. We will go to the police station, tunauliza nini inaendelea hapa. Tunasaidia, tunainterpret huyo deaf, anaachiliwa. So I used to do a lot of chief meetings, nini. Yeah, so before I forget what I wanted to say. So when we went to the church, so the bishop made an announcement in the church. Akauliza, who in this congregation has, hata kusema nani anajua kuinterpret, who has an idea of sign language hapa? Because I'm not going to begin this service if I've not seen an interpreter. Nimekubali leo, hata church ya leo ikansoliwe, hata sadaka staki, because this is a very special team to me. That was now in another church we had visited somewhere. Sasa watu wanaanza kujikuna vichwa. Imagine that church was fully packed. It had over 5,000 members. Not even a single person had an idea of sign language. So def tulikuja naye, anaanza kunitapa, ananiambia wewe enda mbele bana. Naomba nitaendaje mbele? Mimi bado mimi hata sijaiva. Naenda juka huko. Yoni kujikalisha kwa kiti moto bana. What am I going to do? Sasa def akaanza kuniguza tu, enda tu, sasa tutafanya nini? If you can communicate with us, unaweza tu. So now that was my very first time to do a serious engagement. And remember that time sikuwa nimepata hata mtu sijui job inaendeleanga aje. Ndio naifanyanga ndio, but through my own innovation, through my own antics. Nikaletewa nikasimama. Nilisimama tu hivi, congregation yote ikasimama. Ikanipatia standing ovation. Mimi hiyo time nimesweat. I'm a very young, I was young. Yeah, I was in my early 20s, you know. Sasa naona kila mtu amesimama. Pastor amesema tusimame, let us appreciate this gentleman, because to them they saw an hero in me, something that I had not seen. Mimi nikajiuliza kwa akili, yani hao watu wote wanaona nafanya kitu ya maana ama nini? Nikaenda nikakaa kwa hiyo kiti. Venye nilikalia hiyo kiti tu hivi, nikasema from today henceforth, hii ndio itakuwa job yangu. Nilijiambia kwa akili yangu, nasema with that reception yenye nimepata, then I need to do something and professionalize. Nikakaa hapo kwa kiti, pastor na preached. I remember it was in the book of Ephesians. I cannot remember the exact scriptures. Ana preach. Mimi sishikanishi, narusha tu sign moja najua. Nilikuwa naongoja tu senya amesema amen, na sign amen. Praise the Lord, na I signed very fast. But hizo the details, the rudiments in the details, sikuwa nashikanisha sana. Therefore walikuwa naona wana smile tu, wanani. After hapo ikaisha, so the bishop, the board members, nini kuna room wanaendanga. Wanitanga hiyo high office yao, wanakaa hapo. Pastor akasema today my special guest kwa hiyo room, hata sio hao nimeita, huyu kijana huyu ndiye anaenda kuwa special guest yangu. Tutaenda naye kwa ofisi, tutakula sisi lunch, tutampea kila nikachangiwa pesa hapo kwa kanisa. Wakasema so just sometimes in church when people make contributions, unasikia pastor amesema we want to make some contributions because we have a project that we want to do. Sasa hiyo day pastor akasema leo wewe ni part of your project. Akasema sasa huyu tumpe fare kidogo. Ali announce tu kwa church. Pesa ilitolewa hapo my friend. Pesa ilitolewa.
And it's your first day.
First day and prepared. Hiyo day hata nilikuwa nataka kwenda na short church. Kitu iliniambia tu enda tu church, umevaa tu vizuri. Nikanunua kasuti kangu hiyo time. Kasuti tu kangu tu. Economy hiyo time hiyo suti ilikuwa tu sawa. Nikavaa suti nikaenda hadi kwa room. Wakachanga do hiyo pesa yote. I can assure you nilipatiwa pesa yote. Ilikuwa pesa nyingi. So nikasema hii pesa tutaenda tutumie na madef hawa. We're going to identify what are the needs here. Nini wanasemanga wanaanga mabible manini hizo vitu zote nikawabaia. Nikabaki nangu kidogo ya kula na kutumia mtaani na watu wangu. So nikakalia hiyo kiti nikasema from today henceforth hii ndio itakuwa job yangu. It was not easy. Sasa unajua sasa nimeanza sasa story yangu vizuri sasa. Hiyo bado sijaanza. It was not easy at all. Because that time, you know, I was very young And during that time, we did not have many young interpreters. Most interpreters were senior in age, quite advanced in age. Not that they are not old, actually experienced. Unaona? Sasa zingine unaenda meeting, umekaa hapo kwa meeting, umeenda kujua sasa kuna time nikapewa job mahali kuinterpret. Venye nilienda hiyo job, Def akaanza kutuma ma comments. By the way, the Def are the clients. Unaona? We respect them. Na like you, wewe ukienda kupata service, you don't expect to receive substandard services. Unataka service yako iko hivyo, unaona? So nikaenda hapo kuinterpret. Nikakaa 30. It was a very nice opportunity. But I did not last there even for an hour. Def wakatuma messages to the MC, to the nani. Wakasema this one is not an interpreter. Huyu anasign nini? We were a team of 5 interpreters. Mi peke yangu ndo nilisema huyu, this one is not a professional interpreter. This one is a quack. Yeah, this one was nikakaa tu chini nikasema, "What?" It was very frustrating, bro. Nikasema sasa ni gani hizi sasa? Nimekuja hapa job, alafu amesema sija perform. Organizer akakuja kaniuliza, "Wewe si ulituambia unajua jobs, sijui nini? Wewe sasa mambo yako tumeachana nayo." Nikacanceliwa, nikablacklistiwa. Wewe nikasema hii ni noma. Next time nikaitwa job tena na organization nyingine. Nikakataa kuchukua hiyo job. Nikasema mimi nataka kusoma hii kitu vizuri. Nataka kuivisha. Nikaenda YouTube, podcast, nini naona stories za interpreters wa other countries which are advanced compared to Kenya. Naona very many great things happening. Interpreters are professional, nini zendele. Mimi najiuliza, kwani what do these people have that I do not have? Because right now we are in the same field. But my shortcoming is not that I sijui kuinterpret, bado na develop. Unaona, I was a work in progress, what people say. Ni kama tu if you plant something, a seedling, how do you say that, how will you know that hii ni mti ya maembe ama nini? You'll only know when it sprouts, it grows, maybe through the leaves, and then eventually the fruits also begin to sprout. So my journey, I liken my journey to that of a seedling that eventually becomes a tree. So mine was a work in progress, a seedling that was sprouting, stems coming out, and eventually fruits also sprouting. So nikaanza kutafuta books za interpretation. Kuna watu wananiambia, books za nini? Wewe enda tu practice na madef. I also did that, nikasema, but you see, the trajectory that I'm taking is different. I want to become a professional interpreter. So nikaenda Google, what does it take to become a professional interpreter? Sasa ngine unaenda unapata na mtu mwenye ni interpreter, unamuuliza, ni aje boss? Nataka kuwa interpreter. Ana time yako, the things that you are saying. Senior interpreter anaona, mimi sina time ya huyu, ananiwestia time. Wewe enda tu practice. Sawa practice, but what is in it in the practice? Na practice nini? Practice ni nyingi. So nikakaa tu chini. Then at some point I met an interpreter, alikuwa anaitwa William Sila. Alikufa. He died sometimes in 2017. May his soul rest in eternal peace. So William was a very, very good guy to me. Nilipatana naye kwa function akiinterpret. So tulikuwa tunainterpret naye sasa. Niliwekwa ni interpret tu hizi vitu za, unajua nilikuwa napenda vitu za kanisa sana. Hapo ndo nilikuwa naona naweza jificha kidogo. Sasa tukaenda hapo, nika-interpret for 5 minutes. Defo akasema, hapana wewe kaa chini. Anaambia William, boss, nilikuwa nimekutana naye first time. Sikuje tuendelea, akaniambia hapana, endelea, wewe endelea tu, no problem. Mimi nitakaa hapa chini, kaa kuna sign nimekulemea ndakuwa napatia, alafu una sign. Sina sign kitu kinilemea. Tuseme amesema have hope because God will help you. I remember there was that statement. So mimi najua sign ya hope na najua sign ya God. Lakini nimesahau sign ya help. Have pia sijaikumbuka vizuri. Sasa nikakaa kidogo. Amekatwa hapo chini. Have hope. Ashanifanyia have. Sign ya have ni hivi. Have hope. God will help you. Na inaifanya. Sasa kuna madefu wengine wao kwa naona William hapo chini. Wanamtext. Huyu interpreter mzuri ni wapi? This interpreter is very good. Na ni ananipatia. So that one in interpretation is called feeding. Feeding is whereby
mirroring.
Thank you, mirroring. We mostly call it feeding because sign language is a visual language. So ananipatia So you feed, it's a process whereby, I don't know how to explain it. If an interpreter experiences challenges, as a result, maybe there are words that you are dropping, or there are words that you are missing, so your co-interpreter identifies those words and then instantly gives you the words. So we call it feeding, what you guys call mirroring. It's more or less the same thing. So akanifeed. Akaniambia, bro, nilikuambia nini? Hebu angalia hawa watu wanakuimba hapa saa hizi. Wanasema huyu kijana mdogo huyu anajua kazi aje. Nikaitwa assignment nyingine from hapo. Nikamuuliza sasa itakuwa aje next assignment. Who will feed me? Akaniambia no. Ukifidiwa inabaki kwa system. Unaona? Mimi nimekufeed for 1 hour. So what you do, hii kitu iko na video. Enda angalia video yangu vile na interpret. Kesho niko na function 3 days. We kuja kaya hapo, ndakutafutia fare, we kaa hapo. You'll meet a team of other interpreters. Even if you'll not talk to them, even if you speak to any and they decide to ignore you, don't worry. We focus on can you pick from those interpreters. Nikafetch signs. So the whole week nilikuwa tanga tu kwa conferences. Toka huko naenda conference, kunywa the break nakaa tu, book notes kila kitu na identify. Nikaanza kwenda functions za dev. Nikaacha hata kwenda functions za watu hearing, mpaka watu wananiuliza. Kuna watu walikuwa wananiambia wewe utakuwa bubu siku moja wewe. Nikamwambia sawa tu. Nikaendelea practice na haijaisha hata mpaka saa hizi. Bado mimi na feel sijaiva hata bado bana, kuna vitu nataka kufanya bado.
Damian, your story is very nice. Okay, let's go for this short break. When we come back, utatuambia family walikuchukua aje, like how umetoka kwa political science umeingia kwa the deaf community. Family waliku appreciate ama nini? Let's go for this short break. When we come back, Damian, you are going to tell us. Thank you so much.
Do you know your story can inspire, encourage, and uplift someone who has lost hope in life? If you wish to share your story with Orion Production, kindly reach us at My Story through our email address theorionproduction@gmail.com or through our WhatsApp number 0728654867. Or call us on 0708286012. Visit us on all our social media platforms, on YouTube, The Orion Production, on Instagram, _Orion_production, on TikTok, the.orion.production. Don't forget to subscribe, follow, like, comment, and share. The Orion Production, home of inspiration.
Hello viewers and welcome to My Story. I'm your host Jeff Otieno. Let's continue with Damian Evans' story. Thank you so much. Damian, yes. Tuendelee
na wapi?
Okay, it was about the family. Umechukua interpretation, na you ulikuwa political science. Family walikusupport ama?
My family first was very confused. Juu wako wanaelewa. Of course they understood penye nilianzia sign language, because like I said initially, I had a deaf family friend. So the deaf family friend tulikuwa tunakaa naye ananifunza, but now when I remember I spoke to my father. I spoke to him, nikamwambia there is this field that I'm venturing into. I do not really understand it very well, but I think my soul has told me this is where you belong. So I want to work on it. I want to improve myself, and I want to be a professional here. My dad just told me, I know you very well. You are one person, if you always want something, you go for it, even if you fail. But I know I cannot tell you to stop. Because I cannot tell you to stop. What I can only do to you is to offer you my blessings. Yeah, akanipea advice kidogo. He was very supportive. He was very supportive, including my mother. They were all very supportive. My siblings were the ones who never really understood it very, very well. Up to sasa saizi, ndo sasa wanaelewa, kumbe ujamaa really meant what he wanted to do.
Sasa hivi wanakuona kwa TV, wanasema aje?
My family?
Yeah.
Wanasikia poa sana. Wanasikia vizuri sana. They are very, very happy about it. They are proud. Sometimes utapata hata uko tu job, hujaonana na mtu hata for 6 months. And my siblings would tell me, we nika tunakuonanga every day.
Yeah.
Unaona? So I did not experience any backlogs in the family setup. They have always been very, very supportive towards this process. So then, like I'd said, the journey was quite challenging, but ile time nilianza kujua kazi ina improve, you go somewhere for an assignment, unatumiwa message. There was a time nilikuwa nimekuambia nilienda mahali job, nikachujwa. Kasema ujamaa perform. Sasa kuna siku nikaenda assignment, nilikaa kitu kama 6 months, nikasema sitafanya job yote, kazi yangu itakuwa ni kujitrain. Ndaenda tu anywhere nimeona tu kuna sign language, ninaenda hapo.
So you didn't go to any school, ulijitrain yani hivyo tu?
Nilienda shule. Nilienda shule, the University of Nairobi, Kenya Sign Language Research Project. There is a wonderful gentleman called Washington Hakaranga. He has taught very many people in sign language. He has taught interpreters, very many things. Nikaenda kwake first, akaniadvise, akaniambia wewe uko sawa, lakini lazima uingie kwa hii program yangu. There are nitty-gritties that you need to understand. Kuna vitu about interpretation, including the code of ethics. There are very many things about interpretation that you need to know other than just signing and voicing. Unaona? So then nikaingia kwa program yake, akanitrain advice, nikakutana na other interpreters wakiwa na meetings, nakuja na attend. Yeah, so kutrainiwa nilitrainiwa. Pia mimi nafanya personal research, and then I used to follow some interpreters from America. There was a time 2 female interpreters came from America. We went for a gig somewhere. So after your gig, I was one of the interpreters who was there. So, but mimi niliona wazungu wawili wamekuja, nika freeze kwanza. Nikaanza kusweat, nikasema guys, sasa hawa watakuja ku-evaluate skills zangu. 2 very seasoned interpreters. One had 30 years experience. Anafunza PhD, anafunza sign language up to every level. Amefunza watu wengi, amementa. Kuna kitu inaitwa ITP, Interpreters Training Program. So one of those interpreters ni yeye ndio director wa hiyo program huko US somewhere. Akanifungulia resources zake, akanionyesha, kunifungulia website penye nafaa, kuna nini, unajua TED Talks. Kuna TED Talk pia sign language. If you Google it, ukienda YouTube utaona tu ya sign language. Unaona stories wanaongelea. There is also, kuna very many platforms. Akanifungulia, akanionyesha books. There is one book inaitwa So You Want to Be an Interpreter. There is another book called Sign Language Interpretation in the 21st Century. So those 2 books zilinisaidia kabisa. They have everything about sign language interpretation, including how you sign, how you use non-manual markers. Non-manual markers ni facial expression, body movement, eye contact, pantomimes, what people call mimicry, ama dramatizing. All those components are in sign language. Your sign language is not just kusign mkono peke yake. Your face communicates. Kama mtu amesema, maybe kama mtu amesema, yesterday there was a road accident. 3 people died. Sasa mimi ni interpreter, I can demonstrate it. Sema, yesterday road accident. There people 3 died. Unaona? Sama face inafaa ionyeshe ni kama kitu mbaya. So you are sad. But kuna mtu anaweza anza kusign ati 3 people died, we were sad, amesmile. Hakuna message hapo. The client atashangaa, ni ukweli ama ni jokes hizi? Hizi watu wanasema stories za jaba. Kitu kaa hiyo. Sasa nikaanza kuwako, nikapata wenye niliwaka nao kaniambia, tumeona kazi yako ni mzuri, but work on ABCD. Ukitaka kujua facial expression, read this resource, watch this video, read this book, follow so and so. I used to do all those things. Sasa nikirudi kwa field pia nipatana na watu wetu hapa Kenya, bado na pick kwao. So I really picked very fast because I was interested. One thing I've learned, by the way, if kuna kitu wanasemanga, passion is greater than profession. You see? A profession tu ni profession tu, umeitwa kazi nini. What's your profession? I'm a lawyer, I'm an interpreter. I can be a profession, I can enter into any profession, but without that passion, there's nothing I'm going to do. So the passion gives you the zeal. It gives you the fortitude to try to figure out what to do in order to improve yourself. it gives you the energy, what people call the willpower. It gives you that drive. So I mean, ilikuwa na hiyo passion kabisa. Passion ilikuwa ndani kabisa. People talk about, you know, you can be confident even in doing something wrong. Even the robbers are confident. Sindio? So confidence alone, confidence has to be packed with passion as well, you know, so that you do what you want to do.
Okay, Damian, challenges yenye encounter with the deaf community. Challenges kama gani?
Okay, challenges kwa deaf communities yenye experience. Number one, zenye mimi experience personally, ama zenye deaf experience personally.
And the deaf.
Me,
From the deaf.
I've experienced a lot of challenges. Kwa hiyo communication barrier yenye nimekwambia. Unajua most deaf people, actually 90% of deaf people are born from families of people who are actually not deaf, because many people think that deaf people, mtu kama mtu ni deaf, there must have been somebody in the family who was deaf. Not really so. No, we have types of deafness. Now we have the congenital deaf people, the ones that were born deaf, and also there are some who are not born deaf, who are born hearing, but later on we call them kuna tunaitwanga partial deaf ama unilateral deaf. Alafu kuna postlingual deaf na kuna prelingual deaf. Postlingual deaf ni mwenye amekuwa deaf after acquisition and development of language, maybe at the age of 7, at the age of 6. Si hapa mtu anakuanga shajua kuongea, but prelingual deaf from ages 0 to 3 haizi kuwa amedevelop language fully. Sasa hawa tunawaita fully deaf, stone deaf, or and then kuna nini bilateral deaf, meaning both sides as is key. Challenges zenye nimeona sana hii mambo ya there's a lot of misunderstanding. When somebody sees a deaf person, ata focus on the fact that this person is deaf, not realizing that this is also a fully functional human being. Like for example, if you go to a function, unapata deaf wamewekwa atakaa side fulani, which ideally should not be the case. If a deaf person is attending a forum, just like the hearing people, if a hearing person decides to sit at the back, let the deaf person also have that discretion of sitting where they want. Yeah, kuna watu wanaona huyu anafaa fanywe hivi because akona condition. That one is not a condition. Hivyo tu ndio venye yako, like they have accepted themselves as deaf. And also there is attitudinal barrier yenye sisi pia tume experience as interpreters. There was a time I went to interpret at a function somewhere. It was a burial somewhere along Western. Sasa nimekaa hapo nikaanza kuinterpret. Sasa there was a group of about 20 people who were not even paying attention to what the speakers were talking about. They came closer to where I was seated. They gathered there and then started whispering in low tones. At sasa huyu kijana woi, yani huyu kijana si ni timu imetoka Nairobi, na kwa nini huyu anakaa kuna kichwa mbaya huyu? They had not seen something like sign language. Saa hizi unajua watu wanaelewa hizi vitu. It was in a very very remote part of the country. So they gathered around there. Their main intention was after the program they come and pray for me. Wanasema kichwa wangu imeharibika. Mwingine akasema wale akasema vijana siku hizi wanatumia vitu nyingi sana, labda huyu ametumia mihadarati ama nini.
Okay, tukimalizia, behind the scene you say that you were dating a deaf. How was your love life with the deaf? Ilikuwa aje?
That was
explain here. It's just for you to explain us, yes, the people who are talking, the reason why tunafaa ku date the deaf and how. Because you are dating the deaf. How?
Kuna mtu ali joke na his statement siku nyingine akiniona na dem deaf. Akasema mimi I thought love was blind. No, love is not blind, love is deaf. Kwa sababu wewe tumekukataza wachane na deaf, hujasikia. But me I came to realize kitu inaitwa love ni borderless. During that time nilikuwa na deaf girlfriend. We used to hang out, mnaenda function, maybe a restaurant somewhere. Sometimes I would go to the washroom and even stay for even 5 minutes. Nilikuwa tu sure huyu hakuna mafisi hawezi kuja hapa. Mtu anakuja na kitabu, phone, anajaribu kutext, ana give up. But along the way, life happened. That deaf lady is also excelling somewhere in their own field. Na vitu ziko, so maybe what I can tell people, the deaf people can do anything and everything apart from hearing. Unajua you cannot teach a deaf person how to hear. Kuna watu kuna kwanga na systems za tumikanga, lip reading. American system is very very robust. Wako na hizi vitu zinaitwa speech therapy. So they train you to speak fine, kutakuwa na hizo words, but you see, for cognitive development there needs to be massive language development. You see, now that this person has a deficiency of not hearing, they need a fully fledged language which is called sign language. Now, and sign language is sign language. Sign language is not English or Kiswahili. Sign language is just sign language. There is American sign language, there is Kenyan sign language, there is Ugandan sign language. Hivyo, hizo ndivyo ziko kwa sign language. So it was quite challenging, but tulienda two steps zime-improve. Kuna watu pia waelewi job yetu, by the way. Umetoka umeenda kuinterpret, umemaliza, maybe kani church, unasikia unaitwa pastor. They call you a pastor. Ukienda shule umemaliza kuinterpret in a class setup, kuna watu wanakuita lecturer. Mimi nishaenda class kuinterpret. After hapo kuna maswali students walikuwa nazo. Sasa students wakakuja teacher to explain kitu inasotiwa. Hizo vitu hata mimi sielewi. Those are some of the challenges in to explain. Sign language interpreters are communication support personnel who bridge communication gap between the hearing and the deaf. So we act as the bridge. We are the communication link. That is what we do. And right now, Kenya is advancing in terms of issues to do with sign language interpretation. You'll find interpreters everywhere, in conferences. Hata tunasema saizi, even in other engagements that people might be having, they need to onboard sign language interpreters so that we bridge this gap. It is very, very, very important. And the deaf people are skilled. They can also do what you are doing through sign language, because we have agreed sign language is a communication in itself. So yeah, we are still on it, professionalizing. Sisi tuko kazi tunachapa mbaya kabisa.
Okay, tukimalizia kuna ma-interpreters wenye wame lose hope, si ndio? Okay, I want you to advise them. Jua yako ijakuwa easy. According to your story, imekuwa through thick and thin. Advise them, those people that want to be interpreters and those interpreters that are new in the field and want to be professional. How can you advise them?
Just like I began, what I said, I liken my interpretation journey to that of a seedling. When you plant a seedling, it undergoes different phases or stages of growth. You plant the seedling, but how will this seedling grow? The seedling can grow or wither out. There are processes that we need to do in order for the seedling to grow. We need to water the seedling, take care of it, ensure there is sufficient sunlight and everything. So eventually the seed will grow and it will become a tree. Stems will also come out of the tree, and subsequently the tree will produce fruits, and the fruits will be enjoyable to people. So if you are a young interpreter out there, any budding interpreter, do not feel hopeless. You know, we are human beings. Sometimes you get frustrated, sometimes you get devastated. Identify interpreters that you feel can help you. Identifying does not mean just calling. You can even follow them. Right now technology has follow them, see what they are doing, ask these questions. Usiulize majob, achana na maneno ya majob kwanza. Don't ask for opportunities first. If there are opportunities, ask for opportunities of exposure. Do a lot of practice, work with the deaf community as a volunteer and anything. Practice on sign language, practice on voicing skills. Voicing skills are skills that an interpreter uses when a deaf person is using sign language. If the deaf person is speaking to the hearing people or in a hearing population, you convert that sign language into spoken language. So that one is now called the target language, sign language. The source language is the spoken language which the speaker is using. Just follow that step, practice, ask questions, record videos of yourself, put on your status. ask an interpreter who you are comfortable with, or even ask the deaf community, rate my signing skills. How am I doing it? You're voiced. Send it to a fellow interpreter. Ask them, how have I done? That one will help you. It will make you understand your weakness and you'll grow. Don't stay in a cacophony of fear. You know, because people say, Nelson Mandela said, courage is not the absence of fear, but the ability to thwart that fear is courage. So I encourage you to continue, because you have an advantage of time, you have an advantage of resources. Resources includes people like us. Me, by the way, I am very, very open. Any interpreter who feels they need to grow and might need my support in one way or the other, I'm more than willing to do it.
How can they get you?
How they can get yeah, they can easily get me on social media. I'm also there. So they can also get me on IG. Most of this, we usually have groups, interpreter groups. So most interpreters know where to get the other interpreters. So me, I'm available. Just a phone call away. And let's make our field as professional as possible. And this journey, however bumpy, we will still navigate, and we will reach the destination which we intended to go. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Damian, for having you in the show. Umekuwa umegrace our show with your educative story. Hope that those interpreters who are outside there, they are inspired with your story and they are going to venture and to do their best in whatever that they are doing. Thank you so much. God bless you.
Thanks, bro.
Do you know your story can inspire, encourage, and uplift someone who has lost hope in life? If you wish to share your story with Orion Production, kindly reach us at My Story through our email address theorionproduction@gmail.com or through our WhatsApp number 0728654867 or call us on 0708286012. Visit us on all our social media platforms: on YouTube, The Orion Production; on Instagram, _Orion_production; on TikTok, the.orion.production. Don't forget to subscribe, follow, like, comment, and share. The Orion Production, home of inspiration.